Okay, in the Megillah Besser, you should know this, it's very well known. You have sheets. In Megillah Besser, there were two key psukim, okay? One pasuk starts the problem, and the other pasuk is the beginning of the redemption of the problem. Where does the problem start? It doesn't start with Vashti. The story starts with Vashti. It starts with Hashem orchestrated, beautiful. But at what point in the Megillah are we in trouble?
The Suda.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but when getting problematic? We did something wrong in the Suda.
Well, by participating.
I got that. But when did the problem? When Haman is speaking to Achashverosh, right? So take a look. First one says, "Vayomer Haman lamelech Achashverosh," which means, I mean, you're right that we did something wrong, but nothing. We're not being.
Well, we didn't actively.
Right. So Vayomer Haman lamelech Achashverosh. This is his first line to Achashverosh. Yeshno am echad mefuzar umeforat bein ha'amim. There is a certain people scattered and separate amongst the people. The rabbis in the Gemara say, what was the point of that? What's the difference? He wants to say something bad about the Jews, Achashverosh. The next line is, they do their own thing, they eat their own food, right? They don't do what you do. Okay, I got it. But why say that they're all over the place? They're not in bar parts, right? What does it mean with Fozam B'Forah? So the Gemara says, you want to look down, skip the next pasuk for a second. When Haman said dispersed, scattered, and separate, he did not mean only that the Jews lived in different places throughout the empire. He meant that they were separate from each other. Instead of caring for others and showing unity, each person concerned with his own affairs. Haman is the smart person. Any enemy of the Jewish people knows by now, or by him, that the moment we become divided, less unity, we are vulnerable. And Haman is saying it in the Megillah. So, yes.
Yeah, but it says, echad, even if we're Mufuzar and Meforat,
Yes, that was his way of speaking to him. Yeah. He said, Yesh Am Echad, there's one, the entire nation here, right? Who is divided.
Why is the word echad?
Maybe Haman didn't go to that Armani. You know, it's almost done. Got it. Got it? Okay, so that's what the Gemara says. Very nice. When does the redemption start? When is the good news? When does the help start? What's the first point of help? Who was the heroine?
Esther said last.
She didn't want to do it, right? Finally, she was convinced. First thing she said to Mordechai when she agreed. Take a look at her, right? About Tomer, Esther, Lachiva, Mordechai, Lech Kenos, et Kol HaYehudim HaNimtzayim. Get them together, because she understood that was the issue that makes us vulnerable. So those two psukim, ladies, it's amazing, are the two bookends of the Megillah.
Unity means strength.
Yes, unity means strength, absolutely. And therefore, Haman knew that Esther was right. See the bottom? Right there. This is what Esther was thinking. That's better, thank God. Became a white guy. Okay, Esther was right. The Jews gathered in prayer. I'm sorry, this is what Esther was thinking. She knew it was necessary to bring the Jews together. Okay, so basically what we have here is that the crux of the threat was because of lack of unity. Fair? I found something brand new. Now I want to tell you something. I'm going to teach it to you. Do I understand it fully? No. But listen carefully. Next page. In Shemot, Parshat Yitro is Matan Torah. Everybody knows what that is, right? First time, that Hashem gave you the Torah. Right. Yes. It starts off, Perek Yutet Pasuk Aleph. Chodesh HaShlishi. What month is that, guys? Sivan. Let's say Bnei Yisrael Meretz Mitzrayim. Hayom Hazeh Ba'u Midbar. They came to Har Sinai. The next pasuk, that's the first pasuk as an intro to Matan Torah, says something that you all know. But the rabbis claim that it is a prerequisite for us getting the Torah. Vayisum Erfidim, Vayavol Midbar Sinai, it's pasuk Bet. You see that, right? Sham Yisrael. Everybody knows this. Vayichan Sham Yisrael. Yisrael, the Jewish nation. Is it one or is it Rabim?
Should be Rabbi, but
It's Rabbi, but it says Vayichan, right? Vayichan is singular. Says Rashi, the famous thing. Ke'ish echad v'lev echad. All right, almost a theme for a Shabbaton. Ke'ish echad v'lev echad. Everybody was unified as one. The rabbis claim that this is a prerequisite to getting the Torah. Hashem doesn't give us the Torah unless ben adam l'chaveiro is solid. Again, we see this concept that when we don't act unified, right, we're not going to succeed as a spirit. Agreed? I want to show you this Gemara. It's a crazy Gemara. Here we go. I'm going to actually start. It's Shabbat 88A. If you bring this home and somebody at home thinks that I make this up. Okay? It's going in now. Here we go. Do you guys know the famous Midrash? You guys know we always talk about Midrashim. We take it literally. You guys, we always have that conversation. Do you know where one of those Midrashim that people who don't want to take Midrash have a problem with it? You know what's the famous? What's the most famous one? We're going to learn the most famous one. There you go. There you go. Excellent. Excellent. Yes. The Jewish nation was under the mountain of Sinai. Nilamed, this teaches us, Shekafa, from the word kippah. What's kippah? Hakadosh Baruch Hu aleihem et har kigigit. Hashem ripped out the mountain and put it on them like a soup bowl. Okay, and he said, if you take the Torah, mutar, good. Be in love, and if you don't, sham tehei kibur. Sham, you have to teach you this. Sham, God's going to get arrested for abuse. There you go. Sham tehei kibur ratzeh. What's going to be? What's going to be? You're dead and buried, bro. Right? I'm going to drop the mountain. That's what it says. I didn't make this up. Okay, good. All right. So right now, this is according to what happened. Let me just address the Midrash thing. I already told you my take on this. I don't care if it's literal or not. Do you understand? Conceptually, it makes sense. She's basically Hashem is saying, I'm forcing you to accept the Torah. Now, it might bother you. What does that mean? Hashem is forcing. So a lot of rabbis feel it's like, did you ever take your child for the first time swimming in a pool? He's afraid? No, you never had that? Did you ever push your kid into the pool? Please tell me, because I have police right outside. You never did that? Yeah, I did. In camp. Like, you know he wants to go swimming. You know he wants it, right? But he's a little nervous. So you're pushing, right? You make him do it. That's the way the rabbis learn. Just want to say. So fine. So whether he actually held the mountain on their heads or not, I don't know. But bottom line is, it was a forced concept to a degree. Fair? Okay, again, I didn't make this up. Watch carefully. Amar Rav Acha Bar Yaakov. Mikan moda'a rabba le'oraita. English. Yeah. Rav Acha Yaakov says, from here is a substantial caveat to the obligation to fulfill the Torah. The Jewish people can claim that they were coerced into accepting the Torah. So does that mean that every Jew now can say, yo, you forced me. I didn't agree for this. Right? I didn't sign up for this. Ready? That's the Gemara. Amar Rabba. Afal Pike. Hadur Kapluha. What's the next two words? Whoa! Bimei Achashvei Rosh. Amar Rabba. Diksiv. Kimu ve'kiblu ha'yehudim. Kimu ma shekiblu. English. Rabbi said, even so, they again accepted willingly in the time of Ahasuerus, as it is written, the Jews, it says in the Megillah, Kimu v'kiblu. Kimu v'kiblu. Kimu accept v'kiblu. What does that mean? Upon their seat, the Jews ordained what they had already taken upon themselves. So the Gemara says that's a counteract, a possible thought of coercion, right? You guys never heard this one, right? Right. Possible thought of coercion by God after what happened in Purim, right? They happily accepted and wanted to be God's people. Now, again, I didn't write this. It says so in the Gemara, and therefore, what does it do for Tzuli Besser? It says that Purim, right? The Purim story is the fulfillment of Matan Kabbalat Torah. So what I would like to offer is that's exactly what was necessary again, because what was missing then in the first Matan Torah, they weren't together. When they got together, God said, now I'll give it to you. Now that they fixed the unity issue, this became the confirmation of the original Matan. And therefore, this concept of unity is the key to the success of Purim. You guys with me? And I will prove. There are two things that happen on Purim that don't happen on any other holiday. One mitzvah that never happens. You got it? And one mitzvah that happens but doesn't happen that way. So you know already, all you have to do is turn the page. Guys, see, that's the difference. When I'm on Zoom, you can't do that. There's no cheating. The page doesn't turn till I turn. Can somebody explain to me? Why? We're not sending to poor people. Actually, it breaks my heart when I pay $300 to some guy who's got $50 million more than I do. You ever saw someone up to like 500 then? Okay, it's crazy. You got it. No. Why is there a mitzvah? And that's a mitzvah. Who has been up to this before? It's one of the four mitzvot of Mishloach Manot. Why?
Brings people together.
That's it. Because the key to Purim is increasing brotherhood and sisterly love. That's what it's about. That's the key to Purim. And that's the antidote and why we were saved. So the rabbis introduced a mitzvah. Do something nice for somebody else, and the nicest thing I guess you do, send them food, give them a hot dog and a pastrami sandwich, I guess so.
You always say you want a pastrami sandwich.
I always had that. I had a neighbor who only gave hot pastrami on rye with a pickle and a Diet Coke. Fantastic.
Wow.
There's no better dream than that to me. No, fine, rabbis. Yeah, so Mishloach Manot. Okay, so I don't have to read it. Yeah, that's the goal. Do you know the rule about Matanot Levioni that does not apply anywhere else?
It's not considered master.
Oh, nice. Okay, that was excellent. I did. Okay, yes, excellent. Give me another one. Anybody who turns up there is no such halacha in tzedakah. Everybody knows when it comes to tzedakah, it's my 10%, right? I have a right to choose whom I want to give it to, 100%. So for some reason, if this guy looks like a person, whatever, I have the right not to give it to somebody else. Not on Purim. Because on Purim, you'll read it without it. You're not allowed to judge somebody else, like him for who he is. Unbelievable. Why? Because that's the goal of Purim. The goal of Purim is in order for us to increase the love of each other. Because that was the issue. And therefore, that's Matanot Leviyonim, and that's that type of Matanot and Mishloach Manot. We're good? And therefore, I'd like to offer the first answer to our original question. Mishenichnas Adar, Marbim b'simcha, make others happy. I don't know about you. Marbim b'simcha doesn't mean you be happy. You're right, it's hard for me to be happy. Do acts that increase happiness in the world. And now I know why. Got it? You don't like that one?
I do.
Oh, good.
Also like when things for others makes you happy.
Okay, so stop, because that's the next one. You go to Besser's classes. Am I causing you pain? Do you want me to sit down? I'll sit down. What? All the girls I dated said that. How's that? I wanted you to imagine this is half the pillows. I walk around with 7 pillows. Okay. I just want you to know, for those of you who've ever been to seminar, this is how I sat in the middle of the circle. And then every time I had to lead a song, I stood up. And then every time somebody sat down, I sat down. I walked around with 7 pillows. Okay, here we go. Ready? Yes, but Lori, I don't want you to miss the first answer because the first answer is key. So now it's simple what I have to do. I have to do acts that make others happy, and therefore that's special. Of course you could do that. And that starts from tonight. Okay, tonight, right? Good. Okay, so what Lori said was very, very good, and that's the next step. And that is, yes, and I'm going to use an example from seminar again. I'm really sorry, I'm seminar out because that's what I'm doing for the last 2 weeks. So the seniors are advisors on these seminars, right? Like Joseph Michel, advisors on these seminars. Oh, we have a lot of mothers with seniors here. All right, so they told me when I told them what to do, they said, "Oh, we're very excited to come on seminar." So I call, okay. I say, here's the key. Since they didn't have a seminar yet, the seniors, they're having it in April. So they were like excited to come to seminar, right? So Eli, hold on, Joe, somebody else here, right? Okay. So I said, here's the issue. This is going to be the key word. If I say nacho cheese, you're doing something wrong. What's nacho cheese? It's not your seminar. Nacho cheese, not your cheese. I said, you're going to have a seminar. Your job is to give to the kids. Told them, you'll see, giving them a seminar experience is going to be even more exciting than getting a seminar experience. And almost to a person, that's what they told me. That they enjoyed being part of giving, of having a sophomore or a freshman experience it for the first time through their help. And that's what we're selling right now. Yes. Giving is more enjoyable than taking. I know that's hard to think about, but it's the truth. Oh, right, it's a palindrome, right. Giving and taking it, right. But that's true synagogue. So the plus I always use is nice, just so you should know. I mean, it's very famous. It's something called Shana Rishona. You guys know what Shana Rishona is? Yeah. Shana Rishona, yeah. Shana Rishona means the first year of marriage, we try not to have husband and wife separated even for one day or one night. One day they go to work, but even for one night they try. And then after that, they can't wait to be separated. And that comes from a pasuk in the Torah. Oh, ki yikach ish isha chadasha lo yitzeh b'tzava. Right? He doesn't go to the army. Shana achad, a full year. By the way, for those who think Shana Rishon is just one of these things that the rabbis made up, it's in the Torah, right?
Right.
Sorry.
The boys that learn.
They don't go to night seder. Okay. Sometimes the chavrusa comes to the house and serves, and then she has to cook for 2 people. So it's a lot of fun. They don't go to night seder. They don't whatever. It's called Shana Rishon. But again, it comes in Torah. Okay. The lo yavar alav kol davar. Keep very nice. What should he do? What should he do? He should be home. Here we go. What should he do? The simach et ishta. Says Rashi. Since it says et, there are 2 ways to understand this. To the left in English, to the right in Hebrew. I'll do the English. The word et, right, it can mean with or her. You got that? Either make her happy or be happy with her.
Either way, she has to be happy.
Yes.
I like that.
So Rabbi Blumenkrantz, who was a very special man, learned shots. It's both. And that's the key. He says it's both. Because when you make the person you love the most happy, you then will be that. And therefore the Torah wrote it in such a way, it's simach and lisameach and lismoach. I got it? And that's the source that you do it that way. And everybody knows, if not Rabbi Dessler. Rabbi Dessler, Eliyahu Dessler. Amazing, he's not alive. He wrote a lot of beautiful things, but one of them is called Strive for Truth. Anybody ever heard of that book? It's very famous, philosophy. And he has this entire section about love is about giving and not about taking. It's a beautiful thing. And I always give the example. Actually, it's funny because I actually just this morning spoke to a class about whatever. It was a girls' class about, boyfriends, how important that is when you're 10, and it's very important. So I was explaining to them, I'll tell you very openly. I told them that I'm not bashing high school relationships, but sometimes high school relationships are really based on taking, not giving. It is. Most high school relationships are. Most. I was just at seminar again, I'm sorry. And you see, like this girl likes this guy and she's talking to him, and she's looking at him like he's, Zeus or something, And he is not even looking at her when he's talking. He's like, he's watching everybody else watch him talk to her. I don't know. It's like, shoot my car, shoot my Jeep. That's what it is. I don't know. So we were talking about this today, and I said, let's think about a relationship that you have in your. Oh, is that a hint? No, I thought you wanted to say. Did you want to volunteer your personal relationships in high school? Yeah. Okay. Good. I said to them, let's think about a relationship that you have in your life that's very intense and it's love. It's took like 8 times. But they finally came up with the answer. Parents, right? I don't know why it didn't come up right away. I think movies talk about it. Okay. I said, look at a parent. You have to be careful with that. Not everybody has parents. A parent to a child. I said, basically, the love is based on giving. It's really based on giving. It's not based on, you helped me take the garbage out. That's ridiculous. And the more you give, the more you love the kid. Am I right?
Sure.
You guys hate your kids or what?
No.
So that's what I was trying to explain. And that's Rabbi Dessler. Rabbi Dessler says that true happiness and love is the gift. All right. It is. It's I've said this a lot on pessimist. It's like, when you're away, or if you get away, or your husband gets away, and he wants to buy you a present, and he's running around for 8 hours trying to figure out what to get you, But that's love. That's nice. That's giving. I'm not buying something for me. Right? I first get the shawarma and then I go to the place. Okay, so that's this. Okay, so that's it. Giving and taking. All right, giving means love. The famous thing with fish. We'll skip that part. Okay, and Rabbi Besser says something that I say a lot. So look at it very quickly. When Hashem created Chava, right, and he put it together with Adam, he says, therefore, a man should leave his father and mother, and he should cling or cleave to his wife. What does that mean? Says Rabbi Dessler. A child is in a take moment. In a relationship between parents and kids, the kids are takers. That's okay. That's what it should be. The moment that boy or that girl, but now it's the boy, right, is going to get married to his wife, change modes. Because then you will never cleave to your wife. Get out of that mode, become a giver and not a taker, and therefore you will be happy with your spouse. Everybody looks a little shocked, right? This is not a bad thing. What do I? Okay, what?
So sometimes I wish men were in your class.
Your whole life has to be co-ed.
They want it to be a two-way street.
I will say this to any man who wants to listen. I'm not afraid of it. But I don't say I want to talk about my favorite supper. I can't do that. No, this is okay. First of all, it's not me, it's Rabbi Besser. Second of all, otherwise somebody explain to me what this pasuk is. Really? It's not a midrash here. What else is the pasuk saying? Hashem is saying in order to get married, you're not going to live at home? Which most kids go back to the home and move into the basement anyway. No, I'm saying, otherwise, how would you understand this pasuk? Why would God say such a thing? I always say it's a funny feeling when the kid gets married and they go out, right? She's crying. So there you go. So I think this chat is mamash what Hashem meant. Okay. And therefore, going back to what Lori said before, that's the extension of so now it's Marbi. You understand? You're increasing the happiness. Why? Because how many people are happy now? 2. I'm making other people happy, and by me making other people happy, I become happy. We're one happy. You like it? Yeah, you like being happy? I like it. The third understanding. Okay. There's another underlying theme in Purim, which we're not going to say. What's the other underlying? Guys, you know this. What's the main difference between the nace of Hanukkah and the nace of Purim?
Right. So Hanukkah was an open nigla. You guys remember, right? Open miracle, right? That's the menorah, which is mamash a miracle. And Purim is the nace nistar, right? God's name is not in the Megillah. You guys remember the two toys? No, you guys forgot already? There are two toys, right? There's the grogger and Purim, and there's the dreidel and Hanukkah. The dreidel turns, but it turns from the top. The grogger turns, but it turns from the bottom. So in Hanukkah, it's obvious that God runs the world because it runs from the top. In Purim, it's not obvious. From the bottom, you don't see it. Fine. So that's the big thing, right? That we don't see it, that Hashem runs the world. It's all about Hashgacha Prati. Got it? If we really believe that way.
It's also practice differently. Purim is more physical.
Yes, that's the difference. Correct. That's why it's funny. The rabbi said that's why there's no meals on Hanukkah. Except I get much fatter on Hanukkah than I do on a couple of sesame donuts. I'm done, all right? Yes, correct. If somebody really believes that, guys, if somebody really believes that God runs the world, okay. What am I saying? If I don't have something and somebody else has it because God thinks it's not for me, finished. Over. And not only that, but it's easy for me to be nice to somebody else. Because why would I not be nice to somebody else, right? Why would I not want to have one? What's bothering me? Jealousy? Jealousy. Jealousy is the root of most evil, right? Jealousy. What is something crazy that we read last week? Sounding on the sheets, it just came into my head. What's like how not dangerous, how susceptible jealousy is. So Hashem said in last week's parsha to Moshe, no, it's Tzaveh. Get the clothing for the Kohanim, put it on Aaron, and also, like you put it on Aaron, put it on Aaron's children. Again, that's totally extra. Avi, right? Put it on Aaron and his children. What do you have to say? Just like you did it to Aaron, do it to him. So we already know, remember, that Moshe and Aaron had an unbelievable relationship. Remember that Aaron wasn't jealous that he was younger, everybody knows that, right? So we know that already. So when he did something for Aaron, he was very good for Aaron. Aaron was the older brother, right? 100%. And as a matter of fact, he took over the leadership, so he would love to give something back to Aaron, right? For him to be the queen. Children. Moshe's children did not take over. Moshe's children did not take his job. And to have to be able to do it for somebody else's children, even though it's his brother, might have a twinge, a little bit. Hashem said, just like you're doing it to Aaron, do it to the children. Why did God have to say that? Even Moshe might. That's crazy. I read that. Jealousy. It's human. It's human. It's very, very difficult. So how do you combat that? So I don't like this person because they have more, even though we don't say it because they have more, but we know that's what it is, right? We know. Esther Henry spoke at I said seminar. Esther Henry spoke at seminar, and she told me the theme was relationship. Want to hear something beautiful? Can I tell you something beautiful? I'm ADD today, and I'm off the oxy. I don't know why I'm ADD. By the way, oxy's good. So the theme was relationships. I asked kids to speak. It's called Tish, you don't know. Kids speak. This little girl, Abigail, she came from a school that was not a yeshiva. She told you?
Yes. Yes.
She came from a school that's not a yeshiva. Russian-based. No Hebrew, but brilliant. And she wanted to go to a yeshiva. Esther interviewed her last year, took a chance on this girl. She got tutored in Hebrew, okay, and she's in my class. Of course, the first test, she wrote it all in English, I let her do it. Just to tell you, the final, totally in Hebrew, she got 100. So, she's a little quiet. She gets up there and says, I don't know if you will know, I came from a non-yeshiva background. I had to work hard, I had to get tutored. It wasn't easy to learn a new language before Hebrew subjects. Everybody's nodding, beautiful, touch. And then she goes, like you said, she's like, and the theme of the seminar is relationships. And I want you to know, relationships are just like learning a new language. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to work at it. She's screaming at it. You have to work at it. It takes time. And then you develop. And she sits down. What the heck was that? Like, who are you? Superwoman? You know? Relationships are not easy. And Mrs. Hillary said that part of the, not after that, she spoke differently. And she said, sometimes people feel insecure. And the moment you feel insecure, that negativity comes in. Because when one is insecure, the natural tendency is to bash somebody else. And she brought examples, Cain and Abel. Cain was the older brother. He was a good guy. He was cool. He was a cool guy. As a matter of fact, you guys remember we learned Cain. Cain was the first to do things. He was like, Abel was a little baby brother, you know. And then what happened? He failed a test, right? He did something not perfectly. Abel got more attention than Cain did, over jealous to the point of killing his brother. Correct? Right. I don't know about most, I'd say some. Can I go from some to most? I mean, from most to some? Okay. But I'm just saying, so that's the point. The point is that jealousy is a killer. How do you combat jealousy?
By knowing that Hashem gives
If you believe in God, I don't know what else to say. I'm not so good at this either, by the way. I'm not.
You're a jealous guy?
Yeah, I'm jealous if somebody has 2 legs that they can walk on. Yeah. I really am.
That's what Hashem
I
wants.
walk out of my house, guys are jogging. What are you guys doing? I know that's what I'm saying. I understand that. Slow down. Yeah, so, but everybody with me, right? To prove that, what's the lashon of the Mishnah? The Mishnah Pirkei Avot says, Ezeu Ashir, what's next to word? What word they said? Sameach. Here, see, Sikha. Sameach Chelko. Because it's Chelko. The whole life is in those 2 words. You will be Sameach if you believe this is your chayk. Because you don't want somebody else's chayk. And therefore, in my humble opinion, once Adar is around the corner, the key to Adar is to believe that God runs the world. And therefore, if you really believe that God runs the world fully, then you are in this. Then of course, then you're going to be. And to show that, you give Matanol and you give him. I'm very happy to make somebody else happy. Why should I not? Okay, so that's the third explanation. You turn the page a little bit. I want to show you this thing. I heard this twice. The Baal Shem Tov says, Bis Simcha is the same letters as Machshava. Mazem Machshava. It's all in your head. It's all in your head. How you think about life, how you think about what's going on, that will get you to sin. Beautiful. Baal Shem Tov. That's typical Hasidic Torah. Okay, nice. Okay, then you'll see the rest and happiness, praise. Okay, good, done. Okay, so now we all know what to do tonight, right? Happy thoughts. Happy thoughts. Hate everybody, and be happy. Okay, here we go. It's Vayakel last week, Pekudei this week, but they really go together. So I want to use Vayakel Pekudei. First of all, anybody remember the old Mashal? This is a good one. I did. You know, I don't even remember what I said last year. You know something? Okay. The Parshiot are funny. It's Teruma Tetzabeh, having to do with the Mishkan and the clothing. Kitisa, which is the Egel. Vayakel Pekudei, a total review of everything we said in Truma Tetzaveh. God forgive me, the most boring 2 parshiot in the entire Torah. Because not only is it actually boring, it talks about all the things that was created, but he said it again, you know? It's like, is this on the test? You know, yeah, he said it. You better remember? Rav Soloveitchik gives a beautiful mashal. It's a mashal, don't go crazy on it. So this husband and wife got married, they fall in love, they're very happy, they get married. Then they go and they build their house, very nice, and they do this, the furniture here, the furniture there, the kitchen, very beautiful. One day, what did I do wrong? Oh. One day the husband comes home and he sees his wife with other. Oh my God, what? You know? You're wondering why Rav Soloveitchik would give this much, right? But he does. With other. Okay, throws her out. Friend comes, he goes, no, give her a chance, come on. So he gives her a chance. It's just not the same. just not the same. It's not that feeling that wasn't. Guys, don't get depressed. It's just a mashal. Okay, I don't know. You guys are like starting to cry. Hashem marries the Jewish people. It says, by the way, it was like a chuppah in Matan Torah, Parshat Yitro. And then they build a little house together. Oh, a little here, a little this here, a little that. Nice, beautiful furniture. Everybody's happy. Kitisa. God comes down. They're playing around with some bull over there. All right. Some other bull who wants to destroy them. Who's the good friend? Moshe. Moshe comes and says, right, what does God say? I'll give him another chance, right? Salachnu kidvarech. Says Rav Salah. That's the difference. When God says forgiven, it's like it never happened. So we have to repeat everything we said in Trumat Tzaveh again in Vayakel Pekudei, because it's just like brand new. So you have to know who you're telling this to. It's a little rated R mashal, but it's a beautiful piece. And I always say that in shul when I'm there because the truth is people look at it. Why are we saying this again? That's the point. Every word is said again to make them to understand when Hashem says salah. When a person does teshuvah and God forgives, it's forgiven. Got it? Am I right? Ready? So in Vayakel, it says Vayakel Moshe Kol. What did I tell you? Vayakel Kudei is talking about the building of the Mishkan. Good. Vayakel Moshe Kol Adam Israel, and all of a sudden you would think he's talking about the Mishkan. What's Bet Gimel and Dal talking about? I mean Bet and Gimel.
Shabbat.
Shabbos, and then Hey goes back to start giving me stuff for the Mishkan. Why is it here? It's not only here. It's not only here. It's here 4 times to tell us the following. Can we look at Pasuk Bet? You're not allowed to do melacha on Shabbat. Does anybody want to tell me what constitutes a melacha?
Something creative.
Something creative. What if I come up with a good joke? Is that asur on Shabbat? That's creative. Pretty good. Yeah. So this is one of the most famous, if not the most famous, that the Torah is learned. We learn God's words in different ways. Sometimes we learn it because it says it in the Torah, and sometimes we learn it for hints that God gives us. One of those hints is called hekesh. Hekesh. When Hashem puts 2 things, one pasuk together, why? I'll give you a famous one. Ish imo ba'aviv tirau, right? Ve'ed shatot tishmo. Fear your parents, keep Shabbat. 2 concepts. Why are they together? Teach us that if parents say to be Mechalel Shabbat, don't listen to them. So it doesn't say that out. It doesn't say don't listen to them. Hekesh. 4 times God put the building of the Mishkan next to keeping Shabbat. From there we learn that all the melachot, the activities that they did in creativity to create the Mishkan are the 39. Got it? Very nice. Can everybody look? So it doesn't say the melachot, right? It doesn't say the melachot. Can you look at Pasuk Gimel? What does it say? Don't light a fire. Is that one of the 39 melachot?
Yeah.
I thought it doesn't say that. Didn't we just say that the Torah doesn't say the melachot? And now, in last week's parsha, which is always connected, they took one. They took one and said it, right? Come on, baby, light my fire, right there. Somebody got to laugh at that because when I say it in high school, nobody knows what I'm talking about. Who sang it? The Doors. Yeah. Oh. The Doors. Okay. Does everybody understand my question?
Yes.
Good. Flip the page. So the Gemara asks that question. Top of 5. For this brief introduction, this difficulty in the verses quoted above becomes immediately apparent. Why does the Torah refer specifically to the provision of lighting a fire? Nice. Gemara has a great answer. It's in the next little paragraph. I'll tell you. I'm running out of time. Ready? Gemara says it's coming to teach us a very important halacha. A little boring, but let me tell you. The 39 halachot is one big sin or is 39 sins? 39 sins. And the days of the Bet Mikdash, if somebody would do a malacha b'shogeg and have to bring a korban chatat, right? So if somebody lit a fire, cooked, carried, did everything, for every one of those malachot, you would have to bring a korban chatat. Got it? So they separated one to say each one is separate. Got it? This is not the big fight. Here's the big fight. So of course I'm curious because I'm a bug. Why that one? That means they could have picked any random milacha to say. Borer, mivashel, tons, right? Kotzer. Nice question. Oh, don't jump. You're there. So everybody, I'm running because I got to do that last piece. Why do we make a blessing on fire on Saturday night? Why do we say Borei Ha'esh on Saturday night?
Because Hashem gave Adam fire.
Right, Hashem gave Adam the ability to create fire on Saturday night, which means, what's my thought? This part you don't know. That's what you know. You know what I'm saying? You can join, please. Girls, can Eli stay in my place? Eli, come here. Eli, tell him how seminar was. How many seminars did you go to? Yes, you did. I took it twice. Okay, here we go. Ready? Yeah.
Adam and fire.
So watch. Fire was not created in the 6 days. It's created Saturday night. That's why we make bracha or why we'll get to in a minute. That's the famous one. Now watch this. I love Gemara stuff. Ready? Since fire was not created in the 6 days, I would have thought it'll never be a malacha. Because why do we keep Shabbat? Hashem created the world in 6 days and rested on the 7th. But he didn't create fire during the 6 days. I would have thought it's not one of the malacha. So if you're going to choose one, I'll choose that one because I might have thought, not. How nice. How much fun is learning? Everybody understand? Okay. Now, why? Okay, come on, guys. Why? Why did Hashem not create fire till after Saturday night? Because fire has the tremendous ability to destroy and the tremendous potential to create. Wonderful. When something like that occurs in the world, God says, I can't give it to Adam and Chava until they mature a little bit. Let them go through a Shabbat, let them get a little holy, a little older, and then I'll give them fire. And therefore, if you give your 10-year-old a phone, you're making a mistake. Done. I'm dead serious. Would you let a 10-year-old drive a car? Why not? Why is there a rule that you have to be 16, 17, 18? Because a car is fantastic. A car is terrible. So if you're too young to drive a car, not because you don't know how to put your foot on the wheel, because you're not mature enough. So you're going to use it in a destructive way. I'm very serious, girls. You don't give matches to a kid. Matches is a beautiful thing. It's fire. Yeah, you can't light anything without a match, but not a 10-year-old. And you're all taking your phones away from your 10-year-old today? My grandchildren who are 2 know how to use the phone. I'm serious. They go like this, they go like this, they go like this. They keep calling me because I'm Abba. I'm top of the list. I get calls all day from my kids' phones. I don't even pick up anything because I know who it is. So I wrote on the bottom. Okay, so I said, I got to get to this later. All right, I have to show you something beautiful. You know what? I might have to just paraphrase it and do something. But let me tell you. Oh, the chomp thing. I got to do the chomp thing. Top of 6. Okay, this pasuk gives a lot of trouble. No, I'm not. Same pasuk. It said, "Do not light a fire on Shabbat." Right? So you guys ever heard of this Sadducees and Tziddukim? So the Tziddukim did not believe in Torah Shebaal Peh, right? They only believed in Torah Shebichtav. That's anti-us, and therefore they took everything literal. It says, "Do not light a fire." That meant that you can't have a fire even lit before Shabbat on Shabbat. You can't keep lights on Shabbat like that. So they would sit in the dark and eat cold food. That is why we specifically eat chamin on Shabbat. Chont is a mitzvah to eat to show that we don't believe in the Sadducee way of living. That's where it comes from. Besides the fact that I like it. But no, it's a mitzvah to eat hot food on Shabbos. Now, in order to eat hot food, you have to have something that's been on the fire overnight. You do know that. Okay. Even though you want to Hilchot Shabbat quick. Yeah, anything liquid, that's right. If you have a nice piece of schnitzel, if it's fully cooked, you can take it out of the fridge, put it on the pot. But liquid, you can't. Okay. The girls told me today that they eat hamed. Is that full liquid?
Yeah.
So how do you put it in the oven? I don't understand.
Not on Saturday.
They said they take it out of the fridge and put it on the fire. If it's mostly soft, but they told me hamed was mostly liquid.
No.
If it's heavy hamed or light hamed, like Bud Light. What's hamed? To me, it's a girl in Syria who went out with some guy. I have no idea. Okay, here we go. Ready? Now watch. Okay, let me just tell you what this is based on, and the rest I'll just tell you by heart. We'll look it up. It's all names. Okay, watch. So in the pasuk it says, "Vayavo ha'anashim al hanashim." Kol nadiv leil give you. So when people donate stuff, jewelry, rings, it says the men came with the women. That's what it says. And this was mine. Pasuk says, and let me do this first one. Every man whose heart inspired he came, and everyone who was generous he gave. Right. So Rashi said, ready? The people started bringing material, and the men came upon the woman. Rashi interprets this to mean that the men came with the woman. The Datzakenim says, I'll paraphrase. The Datzakenim said, no, it means they came more willingly. They gave more willingly to the Mishkan than the men. You got that? Well, listen to me carefully. Let me tell you. For years, I've been teaching in this class too, that Rosh Chodesh is a special holiday for women. I mean, it's not one. Shulchan Aruch says. And I always said that where is this coming from? Why is Rosh Chodesh a special? And remember, because they didn't participate in the Egel. That's what the Gemara says. Okay, and I've taught that forever. But I don't tell you things that bother me because I don't have answers. So what always bothered me was that the Rosh Chodesh. Unrelated. So I always excused it in my mind by saying they were mitchadesh. They were, they were stronger, right? So just like the moon strengthened, so they're like, okay, very weak. But I took it because I didn't have anything better. It's brand new. I just saw it this week. Ready? So the men we're going to bash men right now, if you're ready. The men participated in the Egel by doing everything, right? Giving the thing. The women didn't participate. Cause of the Egel, Hashem said, we're going to have a Mishkan. Did you know that?
It's a kapara.
Yes, deeper than kapara. Listen. The original thought of God was, we don't need an object to get close to God. Right? Every person gets close to God, gets inspired by God. But the Egel showed God that we're not on that level. We need a medium. We need something there. They pointed to it. They said, that's our leader. That's our thing. So God took it as a little bit of a disappointment. Okay, but you got to work with what you got to work with, right? So therefore, the Jewish people showed me, said whatever, that they need something. And therefore, of course, the goal of the Mishkan is what? Shechanti b'tocham, but they need something. Ready? I just saw this Midrash. Midrash said that the men were hesitating to give to the Mishkan because it's an admission of being not perfect. Do you understand? Because to some people, the Mishkan was a symbol of you didn't get 100, you didn't get 100, you're getting a 95. So they were hesitating. So the women said, no, if God says to do it, you do it. And they got that. Do you understand? The men messed up in the Egel, and the women didn't participate. And now they don't want to do this because they messed up. And now the women who didn't participate in the Egel are encouraging the men to go further because God said so. Oh! When was the Mishkan put up? Rosh Chodesh. Good question. Is that amazing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like ridiculous. It's like men mess up and women clean up. It's like, no, I'm serious. It's a very big deal here. I was very excited to see that, and that's why I put You want to see something beautiful? I heard this from Ariel Mizrahi. You guys remember Ariel? Ariel, a student here, became a rabbi. I mean, he was a teacher. He's in the city somewhere. He's on Torah anytime, and he said something beautiful. Ariel Mizrahi, bunch of brothers. There was one. Yeah. How does the Megillah start? Vayehi b'mei Achashverosh. Right? Does anybody know what the Gemara says about the word Vayehi? Yafeh, Mitzuya. Vayehi is always something distressful is going to happen. Check it out. Megillah root starts with Vayehi. Anything that starts with Vayehi, Vayehi b'shalach paro ta'ar. Right? Any Vayehi is going to be stressful. Something's going to happen that could be bad. Vehaya is good. It's Vakiku